So now we've gone through the healing process. We've talked about what the healing process is. The second part of the HEAL acronym is enjoyment. And I want to tell you this, that one with a grateful heart will enjoy the journey, not just the end result. I'd gone on my morning routine, I'd run with my dog up the hill, top of the hill where we live, and as I was running back down, this thought just entered my mind. And I don't know where it came from. I had never had the thought before, and I believe it was inspiration. It was just inspiration straight to my mind, straight to my heart, and it was great. I felt so good about it, and I felt as though it was truth sent from God straight to me. I was thinking, how good is this? Inspiration, revelation, whatever you want to call it. But I worked out that one with a grateful heart will enjoy the journey, not just the end result. You see, sometimes when we set a goal, we set an outcome or a vision for our life, we work so hard to get there that we forget to have fun in the process. We forget to enjoy ourselves. And so we're working with everything we've got, but we're not enjoying the process. What changes that is if we're grateful. If we're grateful every day between now and our eventual goal, if we're grateful every day, we'll be happy every day. We'll enjoy the process. Isn't that a better way to go? I see people heading towards a goal and they're white-knuckling, they're angry, and they've got to get this goal, got to get this goal, got to get the sale. And they're not enjoying the experience. And so the idea of enjoying the experience is have gratitude in your heart. Now, if you go through a prayer of gratitude each morning and you're grateful for things, you can have that gratitude in your heart. Now, here's the key. Don't just be grateful for the things that are going good. Don't just be grateful for the blessings. Be grateful for the cursings. Be grateful for the hardships. Be grateful for the trauma. And you say, well, how can I be grateful for trauma? You're not grateful for the actual trauma. What you're grateful for is for the experience of growth. You see, let's look at this word forgiving. Forgiving. Is that right? Forgiving. Okay, forgiving. A good friend of mine said that he was sitting in a meeting one time and a woman was there and they were having a discussion and it was about forgiveness. And he wrote this word on the board. And then into his mind came another series of words, and he'd never thought about it before. And suddenly the inspiration just hit him. And what he did was, in front of the word forgiving, he wrote, thank you. Thank you for giving me this was all inspiration to him, this opportunity to grow. Isn't that beautiful? That's what forgiveness is. So what we're saying is when we're grateful to someone, we're saying, thank you for giving me this opportunity to grow. That's what forgiveness is all about. It's all about thanking someone for giving you an opportunity to grow. Let me tell a quick story. There was a little soul in the sun. There's a children's book. It's called The Soul in the Sun. And in this book, in this children's book, this little soul goes to God. This is before they're down on this planet, before they incarnate. And he goes up to God and he says, God, I know who I am. And God goes, that's great. That's wonderful. Who are you? And he says, who are you? He says, well, I'm just me. And God said, that's right, you are you. And you have nothing to change and nothing to worry about. And so the soul said, but I want to know myself as something more. And God said, but you're perfect. You're perfect just the way you are. You don't need to change or evolve or have anything. You're exactly the way you need to be and you're exactly perfect. And so the little soul got a bit upset. Because the little soul said to God, he said, but I want to know myself as forgiveness. But God said, but maybe you didn't hear me. You're perfect. Just the way you are. There's nothing to forgive. And so the soul walked away really sad. And the soul walked around, he sat on a seat, and another friendly soul came up and sat beside him. And the friendly soul said, what's wrong? And he said, I went to God and I told him I wanted to be known as something, and God didn't help me. He said, well, I'll help you. He said, you will? How? And the soul said, well, I want to know myself as forgiveness. How will you help me? And he said, well, we can go down to earth together. He said, we can go down to earth and I'll do something horrible to you. I'll do something to you that's so bad, so horrible, and you can forgive me. And then you can know yourself as forgiveness. And the little soul said, really? You do that for me? You're this great soul, you're this great light of energy. You can move from planet to stars in the speed of light. Really? You would lower your vibrations so much to do this wonderful thing for me? He said, why would you do that? And the other soul said, because I love you. And so I want you to think about that little story and to think that maybe at some level that everything that's happened to you, everything that's occurred in your life may just be a soul wanting to show you the way. Now, the rest of the story goes like this, is that the friendly soul said, can you promise me something? And the soul that wanted to know himself as forgiveness said, anything. What do you want me to do? He said, at the very minute I strike you down, at the very minute I do that horrible, nasty, awful thing to you, please remember who I am. Because if you don't, we'll be destined to continue that process over and over and over again until we find a way out or another soul shows us the way. And so I think that little story speaks beautifully to each of us. This idea of maybe at some level, the things that happen to us or happen in life aren't there to necessarily hurt us. They're there to shape us. They're there to give us an opportunity, to give us a chance. You know, trauma, we look at trauma and you go, oh, it's horrible, it's the worst thing out. What if everything was given to you as a gift? What if God, who knows you so well, knows exactly what you need for your life? What if He knows you so well that He knows exactly the difficulties that you need that would make you the best version of yourself? And He's willing to give it because He loves you. You know, so it's a different way of thinking about it. And so what we can do is when somebody does something horrible to us or has done in the past, we can say thank you either to them or to God for giving me this opportunity to grow. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to grow. So I want you to think about that, resonate with that. And let's move on, because we have, if you've got a question, write it down, because we'll get the questions. The next one is antidote. So one with a joyful heart will enjoy the journey, not just the end result. The next thing is antidote. Now what's it an antidote for? Gratitude is an antidote. It's an antidote for selfishness. It's an antidote for becoming self-absorbed. It's an antidote for pride and ego. Okay, so pride is pitting your will against perhaps God's will or the universe's will. When it becomes an attitude of my will be done, not thine. It becomes me, me, me. Okay, ego is where we edge God out. Ego is where we also think that we are better than other people. We start to measure ourselves against other people. And ego is I'm better because, I'm stronger because, I'm more loving because. And we start to measure up ourselves against other people. We start to judge others and judge ourselves. And so I've got to let go of those two things, pride and ego. Being full of ourselves, thinking that we're all that. Now, pride can work in a couple of places. It can work actually thinking you're better than somebody, or actually believing you're worse than others. I'm worse, I'm a horrible person. That can actually be a form of pride. It's called top pride and it's called bottom pride. And it's saying, look at all those rich and happy and selfish, but look at those people that have everything given to them. They don't even know what it's like. And so what we can do is use pride to keep ourselves stuck as we judge other people. And we judge that their life is so easy and their life is so good. That can also be a form of pride. So we've got pride, ego. We've also got the carnal, sensual and devilish parts of our nature. We've got devilish as manipulation and lies. We've got carnal, meaning worldly or earthly, really base instincts. Sensual is to do with drive for sexuality and using manipulation to get there. So if you're devilish and sensual, you're using manipulation to try and get sex. So what you're saying, that's sensual and devilish. That's the type of thing. So we've got pride, ego, carnal, sensual and devilish. They're the 5 natural man conditions. Natural woman. They're the 5 conditions that we don't want when we slip into that. So gratitude is the antidote for that. So if you want an antidote against those things, against pride and ego and that selfishness that comes from that, what we do is we be grateful. The more grateful we are in our hearts, the more gratitude we have for not just the good things, but also the trauma and the trials and the difficulties, the more grateful we are for the whole lot, for our whole life, for the good and the bad. The more grateful we are, the more this is an antidote. And the last one is loving self and loving others. So when we're grateful, we have a love for ourselves and a love for others. We feel better about who we are because we're grateful. When you're grateful, it opens up chemicals to be released in your system. It opens up joy to be released into your life. It opens up an ability to accept praise and also to give praise to others and tell someone, you know, you did exceptionally well at that. And not feel like that takes away from you. You're not judging them. You're not comparing yourself. You can just have an open, honest praise for them. You know, it's like me going to, say, Ben Harvey or Tony Robbins and just totally appreciating what they are. Or going to another conference where someone's just starting out and totally appreciating them. Not thinking that I'm better than them. Well, I've done 4 years of seminars. This is your first seminar. I'm better than you. You know what I'm saying? It's not about that. It's about allowing others to evolve the way they evolve. And it's about seeing something good in each person and just having gratitude and joy in your heart. And that freedom to give. So we love ourselves and we love others. A genuine sort of love. A genuine sort of caring, compassion for other people. If somebody's hurting, if somebody's in pain, we can have that genuine feeling. So that's all the things that come from gratitude. Now, if they come from gratitude, then the question is, why wouldn't you be grateful? And the truth is, all it takes is a bit of effort, all it takes is a bit of thought, and all it takes is to create a habit of gratitude. Have an attitude of gratitude and create a habit around it. So that's why I did a daily practice. I would sit down in the morning and I would just think of 10 or 20 things that I'm grateful for, and I would just go over it in my mind. I'm grateful for my pool. I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful that my oldest daughter's on drugs. I'm grateful, and I just keep going. I'm just grateful. And you say, how can you be grateful for that? You've got to be. And otherwise, if I'm not grateful for that, I can be angry about it. I can be upset about it. And so what I do is I take the power away from it, and I'm grateful for it. Because that's an opportunity for her and me to grow. Now we've got to deal with this drug addiction. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. All I know is today she's on drugs. I don't know if that's going to last, and if it does, I've got to be grateful for that. I've got to be grateful for her and for who she is. Because I could be angry about it and be annoyed and frustrated, and guess what? That starts playing on me. So I'll be grateful for it. Be grateful for the good things and the bad things. Take away the power, the sting from your life. If there's things you're not grateful for, if there's things that still have power over you, be grateful for them. Because what you do is you take the sting away. You begin to heal. You go through this healing process. You find enjoyment day to day because you're not swallowed up in the events of the past. You find out that you have an antidote there. You're overcoming this selfishness, this pride and ego, the carnal, sensual and devilish, the natural man conditions, and you also have this great developing self-love and love for others. And that's what we want. So be grateful. If I can convince you of one thing this whole seminar, walk away from here and be grateful